Hey guys, it's me Shane, and I am gonna be explaining my ideas and my theories on BTS's "I Need You" and its connection with the prologue, and explaining the prologue, and then the overall moral idea, theme, message for the most beautiful moment in life. Also, as I explain my ideas, I'm also going to be giving other ideas from theories that I've read, and I'm gonna call it Theory A and Theory B because there's only two other theories that I've read. I'm gonna be using those also to kind of explain other things and to kind of aid me in trying to get my thoughts across to you. First thing I'm going to do is quickly explain I Need You and V. In the beginning of I Need You, you see Jin and he's like crying and he's like holding this lily, and white lilies always represent death. So Jin is grieving the deaths of his members. And so by the end of the video, I believe Jin and Taehyung are the only ones who are alive, but Taehyung does die in the video, and not the way the rest of the members die, but like mentally and emotionally. Jin is grieving the deaths of his members. In the very beginning, there is a scene of Suga lying on his bed, and this is what makes me think that all the deaths in I Need You are connected. So, when Suga is laying there, there's on his nightstand, there's an ashtray with cigarettes in them, and you know that when Namjoon was at the gas station, he was sucking on that lollipop, but when he dropped it, it was a cigarette, and and then right after that, they shot to Suga, his whole burning scene or whatever, and then also like Suga poured like gasoline or kerosene around his room, and Namjoon worked at the gas station, so I feel like that's why I feel like all the deaths are connected. And then I also read in Theory A that they too believe that the deaths are connected. They say that Taehyung, when Taehyung kills his dad, supposedly, I know the phone is not ringing right now. I'm not answering it. Theory A says that when Taehyung kills his dad's an alcoholic, whatever, and so when Jungkook gets beat up, it's kind of connected to how when Taehyung's dad beats his mom because of he's an alcoholic and whatnot. So that's Theory A's connection, because I didn't see that I didn't know how Jungkook was connected to everybody else is, but they said that's how. So I'm gonna go with that. J-Hope, of course, he overdoses on pills, and then he like walks out and like waits for it to take effect. J-Hope has narcolepsy, of course. Of course, Suga, he burns, and I think and Theory A thinks that Namjoon probably died in a gas explosion, and I agree with that as well. Because probably like when he dropped the cigarette, it like caused him to like go up in flames or something, or it was that the cigarette was killing him because he smoked them so much that they were like lollipops, and those are sweet and whatever. So that's what I think. And then who am I missing? Jimin drowns himself in the bathtub. He burns this letter, and I think this letter is his suicide note. Theory A says that it's probably it's either a suicide note or it's his or it's from like a lover or something like that. Okay, in the beginning of I Need You, there's a smudge on the mirror, and I thought that if anyone could read that, it might be like the same thing that Namjoon wrote in the prologue. There's this pic in the MV, and I read this in Theory B. There's a pic. There's this like screenshot of Taehyung and Namjoon are lying next to each other, and there's the shadow of a butterfly. And that kind of just lets me know, like, right there, that it's just like Taehyung is supposed to be the butterfly in the prologue. Then in Theory A, I read that there are petals, from the lily that Jin's holding. Theory A says that there's actually six petals, and those six petals represent the six members' deaths. And I think that that little fire that Jin has is the same fire in the prologue. That's supposed to be like the afterlife. Okay, the petals that appear on Jin's chest in the I Need You video are like the same texture as the videos that he's watching in the prologue. So that makes me think that not Jimin, Jin is reminiscing and looking back on memories and whatnot. And one of the songs on the part one of the most beautiful moment in life, sorry, is Moving On. And if you look at the lyrics, Moving On is about BTS is like moving up. It says like let's move on to a higher place and whatever. And basically the song talks about how they are reminiscing in old memories and how small the place was, and now it's covered with dust and it's empty and things like that. So I think that also has a lot to do with the connection between I Need You and the prologue. Jungkook gets beaten up, and then he gets hit by a car. That's right. And Namjoon dies from the gas explosion. Suga burns to death. J-Hope overdoses. Taehyung dies mentally and emotionally. And Jin is grieving. Okay, so that's the I Need You video. And at the end of the video, that is something. Okay, the bridge. Okay, if you guys have ever seen Inception, you know that in Inception that sometimes the dream world is kind of like in the dreamer's mind it looks perfect, but honestly it's actually broken down and stuff. So the bridge that Jungkook and J-Hope are walking on, I think that's the same bridge in the prologue. And then at the end of the prologue, when you see it's just Taehyung on top of that really high thing, I think that's still the bridge. It's just like withered away, broken down. But at the end of the video, there are five members running ahead of Jin and Taehyung. So I think that that's why Jin and Taehyung are the only ones, because they're running ahead. But what are they running ahead to? They're running ahead into the water. They're going somewhere or whatever. But Jin and Taehyung are the last people you see in the I Need You video. Okay, the kind of like between I Need You and the prologue, they do Dope. And I know that Dope is like a really fun video and it's like a really fun song and whatnot. And it kind of just lifts your spirit, so you can get away from like thinking about how everyone dies. But I think that Dope, a lot of times when Dope came out, people were saying there's a murder case and BTS is singing and dancing. And so I was thinking that the case that they tried to solve and that they're trying to solve in Dope is probably, or I think that it might be the murder case from I Need You. And I don't know, I might be stretching, but it's possible. So in the beginning of the prologue, you see that Taehyung is sitting there and he has like blood on his hands and stuff like that, and he washes them off with water. And I want to say, and my thing is, so I read in Theory B that they are like calming each other's deaths and whatever, and I definitely agree with that. I think so, like, the water that V used to wash his hands off, I think that's the same water that's seen sitting by Suga when they're at that little bonfire bonding moment later on in the prologue. That's water used to wash up V's hands because V is going to go ahead and join his members. And Jungkook, Suga had committed suicide by burning to death, by lighting himself on fire. Um, and then Jungkook blows out the lighter, and J-Hope, like, okay, the first time you really see J-Hope, like the first time you like really get a good look at him, he's sleeping, and I thought that well, that's how he like died in I Need You. So Suga wakes him up. And that's what Theory B was saying as well. Like, they are calming each other's deaths. So I think that V calls Jin. Theory A thinks that V contacted Jin as well. Theory B says that Taehyung says, Hyung, I miss you. Hyung, I need to see you. Or whatever. So I really think that he was calling Jin. The next scene you have is Taehyung goes to this place that kind of looks deserted. A little, well, it looks abandoned, maybe. And I want to say that that place kind of represents the afterlife. So Taehyung may have been mentally there, but maybe not physically there, but mentally he was there. And or he really did cross over. I'll get into that. But I think the place represents the afterlife because, as you can see, it was an old pool, and at one time the pool was like full of life. The pool was full. Um, it had like life, and like people were around there, and now it's like empty, and grass has grown over it, and dust has grown over it, which reminds me of the Move, or Moving On, or Move in Part 1, which is a song on the album that I was talking about earlier, that they're talking about how, remember when we came to this place, and now the place is like covered in dust and whatever, and we're moving on to a higher place. So that's why I think that place kind of represents the afterlife, and just the area where Jin is looking back on his memories. But Taehyung goes to this place, and this is where the boys come up and like join him, and Namjoon's like, what are you doing? On the walls, I always read stuff like that are on the walls in V's and stuff, because they're always saying something. So on the side of the pool it says Joni. Just want to put that out there. So that's why I think that pool and that area also represents, just like when you see Jin, he's like reminiscing and looking back in his memories, also just things that BTS has done. The members, like every time you see the members, it's Jin is always like being the one recording the members, but they're not like taking pictures of him, so that's how you know he's looking back. And then when he's reminiscing in his memories, the song Love Is Not Over is playing, and that song talks about a lot of like why is it so hard to say goodbye, or why are we saying goodbye. I'm trying to remember. It was like love is so painful, goodbyes are even more painful, I can't go on if you're not here, love me, come back to my arms, goodbyes are even more painful, I can't go on if you're not here. It says, tell me why you're so far away. Why can't you see me in your eyes anymore? This long night is following you as it flows. Time follows you and fades. Why are you getting so far away that I can't reach you? So that's why I think that Jen is hallucinating here, and he's imagining them there. Which also makes me also think, how they are in the afterlife, so that his members could actually be there. But the song Move also talks about how this place smells like us, this place is full of us, and that's why I think that also has something to do with how Jin was looking back. The places he went to were places that he may have gone with his members when they were still alive, and he can like smell them and see them there, but even though they're really not there. Theory A says something that like, or Theory B said something that like really, really got to me. They think that when Jen was reminiscing and looking back, Jen probably joined the members, because this is like the first time you really hear anyone like talk. And Jungkook says, "Oh, it's Jin Young," and that Theory B thinks that Jin joined his members in the afterlife, But the first person Jin goes up to and hugs is Taehyung, and Taehyung grabs him and like holds onto him, like like Jin is his life. Um, but next, they're like, you know, having a good time, you know, and the song Butterfly is playing, and they keep saying butterfly, butterfly, and Jin keeps filming butterflies, and Taehyung